Hi everybody, welcome. Let's see, today we're going to talk about a hot topic, and that is keto and the ketogenic diet. I was at a meeting, gosh, I guess it was up in Idaho, and pharmacist Ben Fuchs, who most of you, if not all of you know, was talking about the ketogenic diet, and this is probably a year ago, and he was talking about how it's the most popular 100-year-old diet today. And I kind of laughed about that because it is not.
You're live.
Okay, we'll get started again. Hey guys, we're going to talk about the ketogenic diet today, and I was just talking about pharmacist Ben Fuchs talking about the ketogenic diet about a year ago at a meeting I was at, and he was talking about how it's the most popular 100-year-old diet. And my father has been talking about the benefits of the ketogenic diet as far back as I can remember, but he talks about it in terms of the benefits of good fats. And gosh, 20 and 30 years ago, 10 years ago, my father was commonly criticized for talking about the beneficial fats or the benefits of fats. Common kind of belief and the prevailing theories were that fat was bad and to cut fat out, and that carbohydrates weren't that bad, but fat was the villain and salt was the villain, and that margarines and vegetable oils were the way to go. And the reality is that has come full circle now, and you hear my father talking about things like a stick of butter a day. Well, what you're hearing a lot in regards to the ketogenic diet are things like bulletproof coffee, where you're adding large amounts of butter for the beneficial fats, and it tastes great too, by the way, to your coffee. But you can do that with tea, you can do that with hot water, you can do that with vegetables. It's really about getting more fat, and that's essentially what the ketogenic diet is about, is reducing your carbohydrates, not necessarily your calories, but your carbohydrates, and really adjusting the macros of your diet. And let's talk about that. So macros, what we're talking about when we're talking about ketogenic macros or diet macros are your fats, your carbohydrates, and your protein values and the ratios of that. So let's talk about that. And we have some questions submitted, so I'm going to cover those. I'm taking the top common questions. For example, what is the ketogenic diet? So we're talking about that now. How long does it take for the body to get into ketosis? Most people think ketosis or the ketogenic diet refers to fat burning and ketosis, and that's partially true. That's partly right. The other part is really adjusting your diet and becoming less dependent on fuel or energy from carbohydrates, from glucose and glucolysis. And most people, especially on the Western diet, the British diet, anywhere where you're getting a lot of carbs or carbohydrates in excess of 5, 7, 8% of your diet, your body really utilizes the carbs, the sugars. It converts even proteins sometimes, and starches, of course, to sugar. And your body utilizes sugar quicker and more easily than burning fat. The good news is when you're burning fat, your body is actually more efficient in terms of metabolism. Your blood sugar is much more stable. Burning sugar, your blood sugar becomes unstable. Your body prefers that because of how we've evolved, and anytime we could get things like sugars way back when, your body loved that. Today there's a plethora, there's an abundance of carbohydrates, and your body still is in that carb or sugar burning mode, and so the more the better your body thinks. But the reality is that's not true. And so what you want to do when you're talking about the ketogenic diet, and I think it's a great philosophy from a diet perspective, and I'm not talking about dieting to lose weight, I mean diet in terms of what you're eating, as a rule of thumb, as a general rule actually. But the reality is it's going to be hard to make that switch. And so a lot of times, a lot of us, me included, we like things that have carbs in them. They taste good, they're sweet. Your body seems to react positively to them. When you feel you need some added energy, you tend to start looking for things that have sugar in it or carbs. And the reality is that's the wrong move. And so what you should be doing is actually looking for things that have higher fats in them. And so anytime you can add something that's a fatty, good fats, snack or food, it's instead of something like a Snickers bar or a high carb snack. Stay away from the ice cream, cupcakes, cake, pies. That's all bad stuff. And so anytime you start feeling hungry or you need some energy, especially when you're on a ketogenic diet, you start burning fat as energy, and that's called ketosis. And so when you're actually more than not burning or utilizing fat as energy, then that's a great thing. And your body, like I said, you won't have those highs and lows in terms of sugar. You won't have highs and lows in terms of insulin, and which drives your sugar cycles, obviously. And so you'll actually feel better. Now, in terms of what is ketosis and what is the ketogenic diet, let me just explain that a little bit. So here's a definition. Ketosis is a metabolic state. So it's actually changing the state from glycolysis to ketosis in your body. So it's a metabolic state, has to do with metabolism, obviously, which some of the body's energy, not all, some of the body's energy supply comes from ketone bodies in the blood, in contrast to a state of glycolysis, which we were just talking about, in which blood glucose or sugar provides most of the energy. So in terms of questions, that's one of the questions: what is the ketogenic diet? Well, I think we've just explained that. And again, in a general rule of thumb, let me just explain your macros. I've explained what they are, but in general, you want about 60 to 80% in your diet from healthy fats. Sounds like a lot, but I'm telling you, not only will you feel fuller, it gives you mental clarity, you feel good because you don't have those sugars or sugar crashes and highs and lows. Protein, 15 to 35%. A lot of that has to do with your activity level, your weight, your age, just the foods you like. But we're going to talk about what foods are great for the ketogenic diet for weight loss, as well as just maintaining your weight on a ketogenic diet, and some of the health benefits associated with that. Now, carbs. So carbs are kind of the villain when it comes to a ketogenic diet. So 0 to 5% carbs. The general rule of thumb is 20 carbs, 20 net grams of carbs per day. There's some variables to that too: your age, your weight, your activity levels. People that are larger people, more active, a tall young man can still lose weight if that's your goal with more carbs than a young or middle-aged woman that's smaller body size, for example. So it does vary, but a good general rule of thumb is about 20 grams or less of carbs per day. Eat as much good fat as you want. There's no limit. We're not talking calorie restriction. Now, the rule of thumb, or the general rule when it comes to weight loss, is less calories in, burn more calories, and you'll lose weight. That's not necessarily the case with the ketogenic diet. It's still a rule of thumb, but what happens is you wind up actually wanting to eat less on the ketogenic diet when you add more fats, because you feel fuller longer. Your brain tells you you're feeling fuller longer, and so you're not looking for those carbs. Now, we all know from listening to my father and getting to understand the 90 essential nutrients, when we're talking about sugar cravings, obviously we're also talking about being nutrified or having adequate nutrients, starting with the 60 essential minerals, the 90 essential nutrients, including vitamins, amino acids. We're talking about essential fatty acids, which, by the way, are fats. So some of the ones I like a lot are obviously the EFA Plus, has a lot of EPA and DHA, and the Projoba Omega, which also has a lot of EPA and DHA. So these are healthy fats as well. And so if you're actually feeling a little bit hungry, instead of reaching for a Snickers bar, reach for obviously a Keto Slender FX Keto Caramel bar, 1 net gram of carbs, and we're going to talk about net grams of carbs as well a little bit later. But if you're feeling a little bit hungry, just go ahead and chew on a EFA Plus or a Projoba Omega, an essential fatty acid capsule, because you're getting the healthy fat from it for one. will help make you feel full for the moment, but it's also very healthy. Obviously, healthy fats for your brain. We all know that essential fatty acids are great for your brain, your cardiovascular system. They help promote a healthy cardiovascular system, mental clarity, brain function, all that good stuff. But that extends to other healthy fats as well, such as butter, for instance. So all good stuff. Let's see, next question. One of the questions is, what about people and blood sugar issues? As we were talking about, in terms of blood sugar, when you're getting that healthy fat, when your body has made that shift into ketosis, your blood sugar levels, because your insulin level becomes more stable, your blood sugar levels become more stable. And so what you find is that the ketogenic diet helps promote a healthy blood sugar level, and it helps support healthy blood sugar levels. And so what you may find is that I think you will find, once your body switches into ketosis, you won't have those blood sugar cycles like we were talking about. Let's see, another question, what is the keto flu, and how long does it take to switch to ketosis? How long does it take for your body to get into ketosis? So everybody's different, and how you're eating makes a big difference. What you're eating makes a big difference. Your age, weight, and just general metabolic state, your health condition makes a difference. But you hear about the keto flu, and what that is that for the first few days, 5 to 7 days, let's say, for most people, when your body is going from restricting carbohydrates, which you've been giving your body on a regular basis, and now you're switching to ketosis, where your body is burning ketones or healthy fats as a source of energy, what happens is you tend to actually become more mineral deficient, you become more nutrient deficient, and your body is switching from glycolysis to ketosis, and that is oftentimes referred to as the keto flu. You'll actually feel sluggish, you'll feel bad. So anybody telling you, gosh, you'll switch right to ketosis, you will avoid all of that. When you're switching from a carbohydrate-rich diet to a fat-rich diet, carbohydrate-restricted diet, you're going to feel it. The great news is that once you get through that, you actually will have more energy, more mental clarity, you'll feel better. You just have to get through it, you have to stick with it. What you don't want to do is make the commitment to a ketogenic diet, start that process, and then stop it. So obviously we're not talking about health concerns or anything like that. Always good to check with your personal health professional as well anytime you're starting a weight loss diet, if that's what you're looking to do with a ketogenic diet, looking to lose weight. But just a reminder on the keto flu, you're going to feel that difference, that sluggishness, that kind of lack of energy for a few days actually, as your body gets through that switch and that cycle. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, I think we've talked about ketones, but let's talk about what ketones are. Ketones are the fuel source your body is running on when you're in a state of ketosis. So your body actually, through that metabolic cycle, creates ketones, and these they're oftentimes referred to as ketone bodies, but these are things that are molecules that are circulating through your blood, and your body is using these, basically fat, healthy fat, as opposed to glucose, which normally is circulating through your blood primarily. Now you've kind of switched that, so you still have some glucose circulating through your blood, but now we're talking about having more ketones than normal, and so that is, again, a state of ketosis. Let's see, we've talked about insulin and being in ketosis, that leveling of blood sugar, so you don't have these blood sugar spikes and highs and lows, and so you wind up feeling better. You wind up having a more stable source of energy and a more stable source of or level of energy as well. It goes right along with that, obviously. Things that you'll notice being on a ketogenic diet once you're in a state of ketosis is oftentimes you'll lose weight. Oftentimes you'll have that more sustained energy. You'll have better mental clarity. And again, that's all a function of reducing the carbs, increasing the healthy fats. Not a big mystery here. My father's been talking about this forever, and it's true. And again, referring back to what pharmacist Ben talked about, this is now the most popular diet, 100-year-old diet, as he said, And you know, we're not talking about diet like a 30-day diet to lose weight. We're talking about a lifestyle change, going from how you've been normally eating to now a more regimented, more healthy form of eating. So when we're talking about diet, again, we're not necessarily talking about dieting to lose weight. We're talking about a lifestyle change and a diet change, really, because now if you stick with it, even if you're looking to lose weight, if you're looking to increase your energy levels, your mental clarity, if you're looking for those things and you commit to a ketogenic diet, it's not a start and stop sort of thing. What you'll notice if you do that is you'll lose some weight, but you'll gain it back if you switch back to a carb-rich diet or start adding more carbs than what we have talked about, that roughly 20 grams of carbs per day. You'll notice that you'll start gaining weight back. You'll notice that you'll get back into the sugar cycle that most of us are trying to avoid. And so don't yo-yo on the diet parameters. Stick to it. If you're going to commit to it, stick to it. You'll see the benefits, and if you want to maintain those benefits, then you just have to stick to that lifestyle of eating. And it's a great shift, by the way. It's healthier, and you'll actually notice as well that you tend to naturally eat less. You're not seeking out those carbs, and you're not, once you're over it, once you're over the beginning stages, you're not really seeking out carbs at that point because you've changed your diet. You're now in that good eating habit. We've talked about the good foods and the bad foods lists. The things that are on the good foods are very ketogenic typically. Things that are on the bad foods list, not very ketogenic. And so all this fits perfectly with our philosophies, obviously, in terms of supplementation of nutrients, of nutrient density, of eating. And so definitely watch for those health benefits. Let's see, more questions. Let's see, is a keto diet similar or different than the paleo diet? It's different. They both have their parameters. They are different. There are similarities. But what we're talking about today specifically is the keto diet, the ketogenic diet. Another question, can anybody at any age be on the keto diet? Here's how I would answer that. Children, you tend to not want children to be losing weight. They don't tend to need to lose weight. There are exceptions, of course, but really the healthy fat and the high fat aspect and the low carbohydrate aspect is great for kids. How is that not healthy? We're talking about essential fatty acids. We're talking about beneficial fats. When children are developing, their brains are developing, right? And so what we're talking about with the healthy fats supports brain development, supports healthy brain function, and good eating choices. So there's nothing wrong from that perspective of even children. We're not talking infants, but we're talking about young children to mature adults. The ketogenic diet, from an eating perspective, is a very healthy format of foods, and so it's good for everybody, in my opinion. Let's see. Another question is the caramel shake and YGY keto bars safe for kids? Are these safe for kids? Again, I think we just answered that, but yes. Again, if we're talking about a snack, if we're talking about something to augment what they're eating, gosh, the keto caramel shake, instead of ice cream, blend it with ice, add some fruit to it. For kids, if you're on the ketogenic diet, you want to avoid fruits actually, but for kids it's great. And for adults on the ketogenic diet, it's great as well, adding ice. And I'll tell you, what I like to do with it is add heavy whipping cream. It's slightly sweet, it's high in healthy fats, it's low in carbs, it's relatively low in calories, and it helps things taste good. But it also is a great source of healthy fats. It's a great source of natural whipping cream. Things that you maybe were told growing up are bad for you because it's high in fat, and you about this again for forever. It seems like we actually want to increase the fat. And if you're looking for something for kids, heavy organic whipping cream, adding it to fruit for children. Again, if you're on the ketogenic diet, fruit tends to not be on the diet list because Fruit tends to be high in natural sugars, and so your body, it's healthy. But if you're looking to stick to the ketogenic diet, then you want to avoid fruits. Things like cruciferous vegetables, great. Things like eggs, fantastic. Things like good, as opposed to processed, sausage, bacon, fine, no problem. But just pay attention to what you want in your diet and stick to that. Let's see, more questions. As far as hunger, you will be hungry, especially for the first few days as your body goes through that switch from carbohydrates and relying more on carbohydrates and sugars, and your insulin is going up and down. So don't kind of fall into the trap, I guess, of thinking, gosh, I'm going to get on the ketogenic diet and I won't feel hungry. You will, especially in the beginning. But what happens naturally tends to be that once you've switched into ketosis, your body, again, and your brain is supported with those healthy fats, you feel a sense of fullness, and so you tend not to be reaching for those sugary snacks as much, and you tend to actually naturally reduce your calories. And so one of the common side benefits of a ketogenic diet is weight loss. Obviously, you don't want to lose too much weight usually, and you want to get to a point where you're satisfied with your weight, you're satisfied with your blood sugar levels and things like that. And once you're there, then you're just looking to maintain your weight. And so you can increase your carbs at that point, but healthy carbs, things like fruit, as opposed to sugary snacks and things. Let's see. More questions as far as getting started. I think we've talked about that, but really what I would suggest, if you're just looking to get started on a ketogenic diet, just get started. There really is no wrong way to do it. Just dive right in. Start paying attention to your carbs and start adding more healthy fats. But if you're not losing weight as fast as you would like, if that's your goal, then start paying attention more to the carbs. Remember, the carbs are the villains, but you can actually overdo it in areas of things like protein as well. Your body can turn protein into sugar and into glucose. And so protein is great. Too much protein on a ketogenic diet will keep you from losing weight, or it will slow down your weight loss. So just keep that in mind. Nothing wrong with good, high quality protein, eggs, things like dairy proteins, things like meat, no problem. Just keep it to those ratios that we talked about a little while ago. So keeping track of what we talked about, macros, your fats, your carbs, and your proteins. And if you're not losing weight and your goal is to lose weight, reevaluate those. Look right to the carbs first, then look to the proteins, then look to the fats. So increase your healthy fat intake for sure. Let's see. We talked about the keto flu. Don't be afraid of good fats like we've been talking about. Again, you can't overdo it in terms of healthy fats. Your body will tell you you're full, believe me. So you cannot overdo it from that standpoint. Low carbs, we talked about that. Keep your carbs to a minimum again. So I said that we would talk about net carbs, right? And so when we're talking about carbs, we are talking about net carbs. The difference between things like just your general carb content or count and net carbs, fiber, for instance, tends to be considered, especially on a nutritional label, fiber is very healthy for you. It's a prebiotic, helps support the probiotics. It helps make you feel full or keep you feeling fuller longer. But things like soluble fiber, things like fiber on a nutritional label are considered a carb. And so if you're only looking at the carbs or the carb count, you can misinterpret that, because the great thing about fiber is not only is it's healthy, but that it supports your probiotics and your intestinal flora, but it actually has a negative net carbs. Your body tends to expend more calories, burn more calories trying to metabolize fiber. And so it's actually great for weight loss, but at the same time, it tends not to add to glycolysis. It tends not to be absorbed by the body or metabolized and turned into sugar, even though it's considered a carbohydrate on a label. So always look for the net carbs, not the total carbs. And when we're talking about keeping your carbs to about 20 grams of carbs per day or less, we're talking net carbs. So make that distinction. If you want to go all in on keto, in a keto diet, people will tell you to stick to 20 grams total carbs and maybe just avoid fiber. I would disagree with that, and I would just stick to your net carbs. It is a common belief and understanding in ketogenic diets that it is the net carb number that we're talking about. Things like sugar alcohols are slow or no or low impact carbs as well, so they fall into that same low impact carb count. And so again, just watch for the net carbs as opposed to the total carbs. Kind of a ratio in terms of net carbs that you want to pay attention to, and you might want to write this down, and we'll put all this up on the website, I'm sure, at some point. But 1.5 grams or 1.5 net grams of carbs per 100 total calories is kind of your bottom line ratio, or that percentage that we talked about earlier, up to 5, 6, 7%, depending on your body weight, your age, your activity levels, in terms of total carbohydrates and total net carbohydrates. Let's see, more questions. So people have asked, what the heck are fat bombs? I mean, that sounds strange. Fat bombs are kind of fun. Fat bombs are a very nutritious, healthy, high fat, low carbohydrate, either snack or you can use it as part of your diet, as part of your meal. But anything that has low carbohydrates, high fats, and is quick and easy to eat. And we'll put up recipes, and people are sharing them online and on our Facebook pages and things. But things like even bacon wrapped peppers and all sorts of great ideas involving natural and healthy peanut butter or nuts and things like that are things that would fall into that category. Things that are heavy in healthy fats like avocados, and using avocados and making fat bombs. So I told you we would talk about foods that fall in and out of the ketogenic diet from my recommendations and others. And so fat sources, let's talk about that. Healthy oils, we've talked about essential fatty acids, but healthy fats as well. Things like cheeses, ghee, nut butters, all fantastic sources of healthy fats. Even avocados are considered a healthy source of fat. People would consider that maybe a fruit, but it's actually a very fatty, healthy piece of produce. Animal fats, so we're talking about things like bacon, we're talking about things like beef and just other sausage that we had talked about earlier, for example. Let's see, things like butters, we've talked about that. Healthy nuts, and we're not talking about roasted, or roasted's fine. We're not talking about snack nuts that are covered in sugar and carbohydrates. We're talking about healthy mixed nuts, Brazil nuts, peanuts, but natural. So we're not talking about snack foods that contain sugars and are sprinkled with all sorts of stuff. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about M&Ms, peanut M&Ms. That's off the list. Sorry. Things like seeds, healthy seeds. All great sources of healthy fats. I talked about dietary fats like heavy whipping cream, fantastic source of fats. Healthy cheeses, we talked about ghee, but there are others. Protein sources, fish, especially cold water fish, things like that are high in healthy fats, salmon, trout, tuna, but others as well. And then it's a matter of how you prepare it. So just be aware that you want to prepare it in things like healthy butter, low heat, don't fry it, battered fish, off the list, shellfish, eggs. Eggs are fantastic. And in terms of supplements, we have the I-26 hyperimmune egg powder supplements, fantastic. Add them to your ketogenic shake, add them to your meals, add them to, or add this, or eggs, but this is the hyperimmune egg powder, so it gives you that added immunity as well. So eggs, fantastic. Eggs are fantastic, especially in the ketogenic diet, great source of protein. Let's see, carb sources, things like nuts, seeds, cheese, Things like leafy greens, believe it or not, the carbohydrate count that falls into a carb. The cruciferous vegetables, let's talk about that for a second. So cruciferous vegetables, we're talking about broccoli and cauliflower and things like that. Not only are they great from an immune boosting standpoint, I love broccoli. Again, I was raised around my father, obviously, and so I grew up loving asparagus and broccoli. Not a big cauliflower fan, but it is great for you. But here's the great part. It fits fantastic in a ketogenic diet. These sources of vegetables, they're healthy for you, but put as much butter on them as you want. And real mayonnaise actually is on the ketogenic diet. I'm not a mayonnaise fan. A lot of people are. So add that if you'd like, but use those vegetables to really add to your diet, help you feel full, give you a healthy not only snack or attribute to your piece, an add-on to your meal, to your diet, but load it up with butter, healthy organic butter. In fact, you can add whipping cream for added fat right to that, no problem, and it makes it taste good. Let's see. We talked about avocados, spices, and herbs, all fantastic and fit into the ketogenic diet in your carb sources. So, all great stuff. Let's see. Let's talk about some products. We talked about bulletproof coffee a little bit just a little while ago at the beginning of this Facebook Live. And coffee is absolutely on your ketogenic diet and available, and no problem in adding as much coffee as you'd like on your ketogenic diet. Add whipping cream to it. If you don't like cream in your coffee, no problem. Add healthy butter, and then you've got bulletproof coffee. If you don't like that, that's okay. Coffee is great, boosts your energy, and actually speeds up your metabolism, supports a healthy metabolism. And by the way, we have the greatest coffee on the planet as far as I'm concerned. And when you purchase Be The Change coffee, the profits go to the You Be The Change Foundation, and 100% of those proceeds are donated to worthy charities around the world, really, but mainly here in the U.S. And so it goes to support good causes, and it's healthy for you. The phytonutrients, the polyphenols, fantastic. So definitely on the ketogenic diet list, no problem. Let's see. Great source of additional greens. The Youngevity Super Greens, brand new product, and we're going to talk about that a little bit further on as well. But great to add to your ketogenic diet. Total carbs per serving, 4 grams, so it's relatively low. It's not going to put you over on your carbs at all, and it's a great way to get your greens. So add it to your shake, a scoop of that if you want. It tastes great too. You can just add it to water, actually, and it tastes fantastic. A lot of great positive comments on that, and you get the healthy detoxification of effects of greens, but it also adds antioxidants, helps just with a lot of different things. Let's see. Another shake you can use if you would like on the ketogenic diet is the brand new Fit Shake, the Youngevity Fit Shake. This shake tastes like banana cream. It's fantastic tasting, makes you feel full, or gives you that feeling of fullness. And when we're talking about carbs, has a total net carbs of 2 grams per serving, 2 grams. So very low in net carbs. Again, a fantastic healthy shake, great antioxidant and immune support blend. And we're gonna show you how I make a shake in just a minute using one of these 2 shakes. So the Keto Caramel Shake is a fantastic shake. The Youngevity Fit Shake, fantastic shake. There's no requirement to use shakes, by the way. If you're looking to be on the ketogenic diet, you can actually, no problem, be on a ketogenic diet simply with your food choices. Again, I've shown you several different fresh foods, or I've talked about several different fresh foods that fit into the ketogenic diet and will help you achieve ketosis. So there's no requirement to use a ketogenic shake. Now, I like to use them because they're convenient. I like to use them because they give you that added source of nutrients in addition to giving you something to help you feel full. They're quick, they're convenient, they work well as part of a ketogenic diet, but they aren't the ketogenic diet by themselves. Nature's Pearl, the all vegetable-based protein shake. You can use this as well. In terms of carbohydrates, it's a little bit higher, so you have to pay attention to that and keep that in mind. But it's a great shake. Otherwise, it's 11 grams of carbohydrates, but it is, the protein source is all vegetable, and so we have people looking for that frequently. One of the things that I'd highly recommend when you're switching diets, in particular, when you're going from carbs to now all these healthy sources of fats, and you may be adding dairy to your diet, whereas maybe before you weren't eating that much dairy, is probiotics. So I like the root beer belly by Youngevity. I also love the probacillus. A little hard to say that, but probacillus, and it's a great source of natural probiotics. What you want to do is support your digestive system, especially as you're switching from one type of kind of primary diet of carbohydrates and sugars and things like that to now your diet is primarily things of high fats and proteins and less carbohydrates. Make sure you're getting plenty of probiotics and prebiotics, the soluble fiber we talked about. And what that will do is it will help in your digestion, so it will help promote healthy digestion. It'll help relieve any digestive discomfort in that transition from carbohydrates to high fats and higher proteins and lower carbohydrates. But those are two that I like. You can use the TMR meal replacement shake. We have a lot of people that love this. I love this shake. In terms of carbohydrates, again, it's a little bit higher than some of the others. It's 12 grams of carbohydrates per serving, but this is a large serving shake. So keep that in mind. You're getting 46 grams per serving. So most shakes are between 20 grams total serving size to 32 grams total serving size. So this is a large serving size shake. So it's got more material in it. And so in terms of a higher carb count, you just have to keep that in mind in your total daily carb count. And but otherwise, you're putting more in your stomach. You're going to feel fuller longer. And so, great product otherwise. One of the things that people often talk about in terms of the ketogenic diet is when you're consuming higher fats and more fats, one of the things you want is more salt. Now that sounds very familiar to a lot of you because my father's talked about salt your food to taste for as far back as I can remember. Again, it's one of those things he was challenged on for years and years and years, and there's still people out there that believe that salt is a villain in your diet. The reality is all salts are not bad, and using salt moderately and responsibly, I guess, in your diet is not a problem. One of the things that I like to add, especially when we're talking about the ketogenic diet, is this product, Renew Restore KG. And what I love about it is it gives you added trace minerals. Fantastic, no problem there. Obviously, we love trace minerals. It's not a plant-derived trace mineral product, so keep that in mind. I prefer the Youngevity plant-derived trace minerals, and my father obviously talks about that all the time. But when it comes to seawater minerals, this product, actually the ingredients are harvested from the regeneration zone off the coast of Kona, Hawaii. So about 1,000 feet deep of seawater to gather this. And where it comes in great is when you're adding more salt to your diet, especially when you're consuming high fat and more fats, your liver is working harder to metabolize all of that, and your liver also is producing those ketone bodies we've talked about. So on a ketogenic diet, your liver is really kind of one of the heroes of the whole system. And so in order to support it and give it what it needs in terms of metabolizing that high fat and producing those ketone bodies, it needs more salt. And so you want a high quality of salt, and so I recommend that product. I like it a lot. Additional products. If you're looking to speed up your metabolism, I love this product. The Stay Natural, Stay Thin helps you with your appetite, helps with your metabolism. And so definitely I recommend that product if you're looking for a metabolic a supplement to support healthy. I would refer to that. So Stay Thin by Stay Natural, fantastic product. And one other product I would talk about for now in terms of the ketogenic diet is Glucogenics. We've talked about Glucogenics a lot recently. It's a brand new product. It's the newest product in our Pro line, but it helps support a healthy metabolism and helps promote and support and promote healthy blood sugar levels. And when we're talking about the ketogenic diet and we're talking about transitioning from high carbs to low carbs, it's one of those things that, especially in the beginning, you're wanting to maintain that healthy insulin level and try to reduce that up and down highs and lows in terms of sugars, in terms of sugar cravings, in terms of metabolizing excess sugar, especially in the beginning. But it's a great product as part of that. So I'm going to show you one other thing, and I'm going to show you how I make my shake. But one of the most important things is to hydrate. So make sure you get a good source of purified water. Drink plenty of water. Your body is, especially in the beginning stages and during weight loss, through that metabolic cycle, you're creating a lot of free radicals. Your body is creating a lot of free radicals. One of the best things to flush your body of toxins and free radicals and to support your body through that whole process, plus it'll make you feel better, is to adequately hydrate. Make sure you get plenty of fresh, clean, purified water. So let's talk about making a shake right now. It takes 3 minutes probably, just a couple of minutes. So start with purified water. Just about 10, 12, 14 ounces of water or whatever you would like. You can also use ice in a blender, but for me it's convenient to use just water in a shaker bottle. So I like the Keto Caramel shake. I like the Youngevity Fit Banana shake. So just 1 scoop of Keto Caramel shake. Just about 3 or 4 ounces of heavy organic whipping cream. You can measure it out by the tablespoon. It's about 5 grams of healthy fats per tablespoon. I just kind of pour it in. Mix it as you would like. I like to add 1 scoop of the Youngevity Super Greens. Make sure you put the lid on tight. Shake that all up. And you're off and running with your ketogenic shake. Tastes great too. Wow, that is fantastic. So what I would offer you guys is, if you have more questions on ketogenic diets or any of the products, or just any keto questions, feel free to submit them on this or submit them to our social media team. I'd be happy to try to answer them. If you have a meeting coming up, if you'd like to establish a meeting, if you'd like to hold a meeting, I guess, I'd be happy to consider coming out and talking to your group. We have Sanjeev Javia, myself, Pharmacist Ben, my father, Richard Renton, several others. We'd be happy to come out and teach you more if it's something you're interested in. We're here to help you guys, and we'll see you next time.